Okay, and our last rifle is the Indian-made, it's Singapore, I guess, 2A1, this particular model. Now this was an older Lee Enfield that was somewhat recycled. They made a new receiver and a new barrel, okay? So handling the pressure of the cartridge is not in question here. And also the magazine was modified to a 10-round box magazine other than the Lee Enfield style. So I'll give you a spoiler alert. There are some issues, but not so much in the quality of the steel, but in the design of this gun. So they reused a bunch of parts off their obsolete guns to create a little stopgap weapon. Again, because they were transitioning and doing all this other stuff to the 7.62 NATO. Now, like I said, there's no issue about the steel in the gun. Now, if you also, let me put this in while we're still here. If you're really interested in this, Mike B and his buddy Kevin a few years ago did a video on this, showed the two different versions, went into it, and they did mention these problems I'm going to mention, and they went out and fired the gun. Now, the thing about this is you took a way older style weapon and modified it for a modern cartridge. These older guns, these Lee Enfields, the 303 British is a rimmed cartridge. The 7.62 NATO is a rimless cartridge, okay? This creates a challenge. Also, this firearm is chambered, okay? This chamber is tight, and it only takes 308 wind gauges. So if you watched my video on head spacing, you would know what I'm talking about. And these are tight and to 308 Winchester. And there's a reason for that, because the way this will work is that cartridge is going to head space off the shoulder itself against the bolt, not by being grasped in the rim. The one weak point and problem comes to this extractor, which has been modified, and I believe I should oil this and clean it, to work with that cartridge. Okay? So that's the one weakness there, is the extractor. Alright? And the other one, when it comes in, the guys described how they made and manufactured the magazine. It was made in two pieces, or the way it was folded over. You can see it has like lips here, lips up front, and something about the design of this, and if you notice, the forward lips are not the same length in that. The magazine design was not very good and can create problems. Now, when I went and cycled the ammo through this gun, okay, you could tell the chamber was tight. That extractor was having issues when I would pull the bolt back and extract. You can tell it was kind of straining to get, and that's an unfired cartridge, out of the chamber, okay? So I believe there are this is a kind of a stopgap gun, and some of the design issues can make it problematic. And out of all the guns that I've done in this series, the FR7, FR8, and the Spanish 1916, this is the roughest action there. This action, just cycling live rounds in and out. It's not that smooth, okay, and it has to do with the design. Also, the fact your only locking action is here in your receiver, the old-fashioned style. That's the only lockup you have, 1 point. Some people have said this creates an issue of the bolt sticking and that and everything else. And it was strongly suggested to use reduced loads in this firearm. Okay. And again, I'm going to make a video about that, and that you just don't use less powder with any powder. There is a process, and you just can't do it with anything. It could be dangerous. So reduce power loads, again, another suggestion. If you can see or go and find Mike B's video, they explain this in detail. So before you run out and jump and get one of these, let me do some experimentation and try to get out and shoot it. Now, they do suggest that you can get a newly manufactured magazine. It may be a little bit better or function better, but it costs like $7.0, $8.0. So, you know, that kind of defeats the purpose. It's pretty expensive. They're there, but they're not inexpensive accessories, okay? So this one here, again, a little bit different story. Justification for trying a lighter load, and the action, I believe this is going to be problematic. I could tell just by cycling it, this is, and you see people ramming and slapping, and some people have had difficulty in the functioning of these guns. Not so much fear of stretching out the receiver or running into a problem of high pressure, more just in it's a rough action to work with. Alright, so we're going to take this out and run it with our other ones and see and get some more accurate data. And like I said, out of all of them, this one has the tightest chamber. Okay, it's set to 308 Winchester specifications. Alright, so that's what makes this one also different than the other guns. So that's it for now, and hopefully by the time all these videos air and get online, I will be able to get out to the range. I have not shot this gun. I have not shot the Spanish 1916 and a couple other, or FR7. I have not put any rounds through them, so I gotta get going there. Alright then, thanks for watching. Hit the like button, subscribe, and stay tuned.